This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6 o'clock, a Beech Grove man is worried his business could be ruined after he was targeted by a criminal. The plea he's making this morning is he hopes to get all these items back.
And we're learning new information about the tragic death of an 18-month-old Indiana girl who fell to her death from a cruise ship. The new details about the moments just before the accident.
And a neighborhood finally getting action after months of dealing with a bumpy ride. The pothole relief coming after RTV6 got involved. It's 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen with us this morning. Looking ahead to a more humid day out there, but it already looks like a pretty morning from our cameras, Todd.
Yeah, you know, you're going to notice the humidity as soon as you walk out the door. It has come way up overnight, and it's going to be with us here throughout the entire day. But it is a pretty shot this morning. As you look to the north, it's kind of a split screen right there. You can see the sunshine, obviously, and then you see some clouds, and those clouds are actually way off in the distance as we have a few showers that are out there to our north. So there will be a period here this morning likely when it's a little more cloudy than it is sunny as this little disturbance kind of swings through the area. As far as these rain showers go, they're all to the north right now, approaching Monticello. A few lightning strikes here, but nothing major moving through. But from Monticello to Logansport down into the Delphi area, certainly a shower or two will be possible this morning. So this little wave moves through, and then the stronger storms are off to our west, or the cold front, I should say. And then once that cold front arrives here during the daytime hours, it's going to flare up some additional storms for us. So we're in the 70s right now, on our way up to highs in the low 90s. But the humidity, again, that is the issue here today. It's very, very high. So 85 at noon is going to feel closer to 90 degrees. That 91 as we get into the 4 o'clock hour, that's going to feel more like 100 degrees. We'll talk more about the storm chances this afternoon coming up in just a few minutes. But at 6:02, it's time for another update on the roads with Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. Take a look at this over on our northeast side. The northbound lanes of I-69 stop and go traffic right around 82nd Street. So if this is part of your drive, you can expect some delays all the way up to 96th Street this morning. Southbound traffic, it looks like it's moving along just fine, but it might begin to pick up. It does look like more cars are making their way than just 5 minutes ago. So let's take a look at the map. Over on our northwest side, we still have that ramp closure, the eastbound I-865 ramp to I-465. Now take a look at this yellow over here. That means traffic is slowly moving through that area. A good alternate route to use, southbound I-69 to reach I-465, either northbound or southbound, depending upon your destination. Elena, thank you. Time right now is 6:03. A Beech Grove landscaper is afraid that his business is ruined after the tools he uses to make a living were stolen overnight. Now our Aaron Lish joining us live with his story and what he's asking from the community. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning. So that Beech Grove man, he's absolutely worried about his business and, of course, the well-being of him and his family after that crime was committed heading into Monday morning. So take a look here. This is a teal 1994 F-150. It's Michael Bishop's. It was stolen after he left his work truck outside overnight. He was actually in the process of buying it from his buddy. He tells us having this second vehicle has really helped his family afford getting the kids where they need to go. And then along with his truck, all of his landscaping equipment was stolen out the back of the trailer, except for his mower. You can see some of those items, including 2 weed eaters, a backpack blower, power washer, and 2 chainsaws. As you can imagine, that's costing thousands of dollars. The trailer, thankfully, was found with the mower just up the street from where it was stolen. It was basically everything, and this is taking away from his income, making him concerned for his future.
Provides for everything, really. Yeah. The lights, the food, you know, and it's real tough. I mean, because without it, we're pretty much screwed right now.
So a Beech Grove police spokesman tells us that some trucks are stolen to be used to steal other stuff. And they also add that they are investigating this. And they want to remind you guys that you want to make sure that your doors are locked, and anything valuable, you either take it inside or have it hidden inside of your vehicle. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. This morning we're learning new information about the tragic death of an 18-month-old Indiana girl who died on a cruise ship in Puerto Rico. An attorney attorney for the family of Chloe Wiegand says the girl fell through a window that was left open in a children's play area. Meanwhile, officials in Puerto Rico have released Chloe's body back to the Wiegand family. Investigators are still working to determine what exactly happened in the moments before that little girl fell.
At 6:05, police say the death of an elderly man on the south side of Indianapolis is being investigated as a homicide. This all started Tuesday afternoon when police found the man's body inside of a home on Union Street. That's southeast of Meridian and Pleasant Run Parkway. This morning, the neighbor there tells RTV6 that he used to see that victim around the community.
Very nice man, always sat in his backyard, always waved to people as they went by. Again, he was not a member of this church, but he always made contributions, food-wise, money-wise, well-respected man.
Steve McGreevy says that he's lived in this neighborhood for 7 years now, and nothing like this has happened before. Anyone with any information is asked to call police. You can report a tip anonymously to Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. And right now, Metro Police are calling a case of this West Side death a death investigation. Police officers there found 2 men on the ground on Dexter Street. This happened just after 9 o'clock yesterday morning. Detectives and the coroner say they did not find any apparent trauma on those bodies. A third man was taken to the hospital and is in good condition.
After months and even years of complaining, neighbors on the east side of Indianapolis are finally getting results after turning to RTV6 for help.
I decided to call Channel 6 because, you know, you guys are working for us, and it's been proven to me because every time I call, you guys get right back with me. So this is like our last resort.
People who live on Breen Drive say they have contacted the city countless times trying to get the crumbling road fixed. Ernestine Moy has lived in her home for 21 years. She says in that time, the road that leads to her house has fallen apart. As of this week, her request from February was still listed as active on the city's online pothole map.
It's not acceptable. Because like I said, I called in February, and just a couple weeks ago, she said, "Oh, Mrs. Moy, I'm going to put you on the schedule," but they never did, so here we are.
RTV6 contacted the city on Ernestine's behalf. While our crews were there, a Department of Public Works car arrived to survey her street. They say once a crew is available, they'll start work on Breen Drive and 2 other streets nearby. If you have a problem and need help getting results, contact us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Employers are looking to meet potential candidates for hundreds of open positions today. You have your chance to make an impression at a job fair. It's all starting this morning at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center, and that's where we find our own Alyssa Donovan. Alyssa, you actually have a few tips for those job seekers.
That's right, because the trick with job fairs is that you only have a few quick minutes to make a lasting impression on these employers, and there are a few ways to do that. The first tip is to dress to impress. Now, make sure you're wearing business attire that you would wear to a professional job interview. You should also practice a pitch, practice a quick summary of your skills and experience so you can have a plan to explain why you are the right candidate for the job. This should be less than a minute long. Also bring supplies, extra resumes in case you find more than one potential employer, a pen and pad of paper to take some notes. And finally, do your research. Job fairs like this one have details on what companies are attending on their website. Now, some of the companies attending today's fair include DeVry University, Walmart, and Spectrum. Those are a few of the larger names, but there are plenty of employers there. Organizers recommend you arrive early as there are hundreds of jobs available that these recruiters and hiring managers are looking to fill. Now, the fair starts here this morning at 10 a.m. and it goes until 2 p.m. here at the fairgrounds. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. It is 6:09. Cathedral High School and a former teacher have now reached a settlement after that teacher was fired for being in a same-sex marriage. According to the teacher's attorney, that teacher wants to remain private and does not wish any harm on Cathedral. The Catholic Archdiocese says the settlement is between the teacher and and Cathedral since the school was the employer. The Cathedral firing happened last month, just days after the Archdiocese split with Brebeuf for not firing a teacher who was married to a man. And 2 counselors at Roncalli High School say their jobs were jeopardized because they're married to women. We do want to get a check of our forecast for today as we're stepping out the door. Todd, you're going to feel it.
Yeah, and it's all about the heat and it's all about the humidity here throughout the day today. So your temperature breakdown goes like this throughout the course of the day today. This morning, 8 a.m. temperature, probably right around 73 degrees, and your heat index value close to 80 degrees. Notice by the noon hour, we take a big jump forward. 85 is the actual temperature. Real field temperature, 90 degrees. And then as we work our way into the peak heating of the day, your high temperature gets up to 91. Your heat index value gets up to 98. I do think some of you, especially in western Indiana, Lafayette, Crawfordsville, Terre Haute, down towards Selvin, you'll potentially have heat index values this afternoon over that 100-degree mark. So it is hot and it is certainly humid. And then we have to deal with some rain chances this morning from Rensselaer to Fowler to Monticello. This is drifting off towards the east. Delphi, Logansport. You're up next to see some of this rainfall. But then there's an additional cold front off to our west. That too comes through later on this afternoon with additional storm chances. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Launching and fostering small businesses right here in central Indiana. Just ahead in Hiring Hoosiers, the resources that can help you take your company to the next level. We'll be right back after the break.
Friday only at Ashley Home Store.
Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 initiative focused on jobs and employment training across the state. And when it comes to our local economy, there are more than 500,000 small businesses in the state, and they make up a large chunk of the workforce.
Amanda Sorrentino shows us how to give some love to your local business dream with the help of local resources.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Young Calling made a commitment to her passion of coupling Indianapolis brides with their dream wedding dress.
Nowadays, modern bride, they want everything. They want sexy, they want classic, they want sparkle, they want simple.
After working in the corporate world of the bridal industry on a national scale for several decades, Calling noticed a void in the Hoosier state.
I saw the need of a modern chic.
She tied the knot of opening her own local bridal shop nearly 7 years ago with the help of her daughter, Anne Marie. Now the two have 3 different stores in the Indianapolis area.
So much local. I think that is the key of success.
Just as you can say yes to your dream dress right here in Indianapolis, you can say yes to your dream job with the help of these local resources to help get your business down the aisle.
Don't go it alone. Go find that help that you need to get started, that help to continue to thrive.
Tom Schuman with the Indiana Chamber of Commerce says the chamber is prepared to help your small business thrive. He also recommends to start with the Small Business Development Center. They have experienced entrepreneurs that can provide guidance. Also utilize InBiz, a government resource that can aid you in the technical and legal side of opening up shop.
About half of small businesses survive 5 or more years. Then when you go between 5 and 10 years, about a third of them make it 10 years. So, you know, it's a challenge.
We may not do humongous like other big box stores do. However, we are hands-on and we watch everything we do.
The mother-daughter duo plan on celebrating plenty more anniversaries with their bridal companies.
I can sew, I can create, I can sell, I can clean, I can scrub toilets. I can do anything in my business by myself.
And the key to Calling's local success, she says, is keeping true to her vision.
Every bride that comes to my salon, truly I take it as she's one of my princesses.
In Indianapolis, I'm Amanda Starantino, RTV6 News.
The U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Advocacy says Indiana has 1.2 million Hoosiers employed by small businesses.
And we've compiled a list of resources for you to use if you're thinking about starting your own business. You can find all of that on our website, and there's also ways to grow and maintain your small business. Again, that information is on hiringhoosiers.com. And be sure to join us tomorrow here on Good Morning Indiana as we look at mompreneurs who are paving the way for career-driven mothers. All right, here at 6:16, we have the weather headlines. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, and it's all about 2 things here today, or I guess you could say 4 things: the hazy sun, the hot temperatures, and the humid conditions we have, and then the thunder. As far as the heat and humidity, we're talking about highs in the 90s. Heat index values close to 100 degrees. I think that's probably the bigger story compared to the thunder chances this afternoon, because everybody is going to be dealing with the heat and humidity. Only a few of you will deal with thunderstorms here throughout the day today. Here's the view from downtown to the north. Notice a little cloud cover building in, and I'll show you that on the satellite picture in just a second. But for the most part, it's dry here this morning across most of central Indiana. 74 in Indy, 75 in Muncie. As soon as you walk out the door, if you haven't done so already, you're going to notice the humidity that has come way up throughout the overnight hours. So first, I'll show you the actual temperature trend here hour by hour, and then I'll show you what it's really going to feel like to show you the influence of that humidity. 85 is the actual temperature by the noon hour, and then eventually we're going up to 91 as some of those storms start to build in. Let's go over to what it's really going to feel like, and I'll walk you through this hour by hour. So you're thinking about lunch. Probably think about lunch indoors. Maybe take your lunch to work here today, because you will work up a sweat very, very quickly once you start walking around in all this heat and humidity. It's going to feel like it is in the mid-90s in many locations already by the noon hour. Then by 2 p.m., notice the triple-digit heat index values popping up here in Terre Haute as well as Lafayette. Bloomington, 97 is what it's going to feel like, 98 in Indianapolis. And then as we work our way into the peak heating of the day, 102 to 103 in Terre Haute for your heat index values. Don't pay any attention to these 80s. That's just the model picking up on some rain. So that was those would be rain-cooled numbers. So everybody's basically between 95 and 100 today for your heat index values. Some of you off to the west will get into the triple-digit heat index values. So again, those are some dangerous numbers. So try to limit your time outdoors if possible. So here's the rain that we have out there right now. One little lone lightning strike. Some showers moving into Monticello. These will drift towards Lafayette, Peru. Could one of these showers drift into Indianapolis? Yes, but this will be weakening as it makes its way off to the east here this morning. So that is good news. Nothing severe with that. The cold front is off to our west. That's what comes through later on this afternoon. So the showers will be fading away here this morning, but a sprinkle or two is possible, and a brief period where there could be overcast skies. And then as soon as we get back into that hazy sunshine, the storms blossom this afternoon into the evening hours. These come through and they could linger past sunset. They're not going to be driven just by the daytime heating because we have a front coming through. Wind would be the main threat with some of these storms as they start to make their way into the area, as well as some lightning and some very heavy rainfall. And the marginal risk is out from Indianapolis to the north. Yesterday, there was a slight risk. The Storm Prediction Center has dropped that. That's the good news. And once the front goes through tonight, it's not going to be a sudden change, but the humidity will start to drop. And you'll notice a big difference tomorrow with partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-80s. But again, the humidity is going to be a lot lower across the area. Friday's another great day for us. Then the heat builds back in over the weekend, and it lingers all the way through a good chunk of next week. So it's going to start another heat wave here across the area with those 90-degree temperatures and just some small storm chances on Sunday and Monday, but plenty of hazy sunshine and a lot of heat to go around. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here's a look at I-69 at 82nd Street up on our northeast side, and you can see traffic is moving along. Just before there was some stop and go, but it looks like it has eased up just a bit, which is good news if you're heading out the door up on that northeast side. Let's take a look at the map. We have these lists is beginning today. The ramps to Kessler Boulevard are going to close, and those are the ramps over the Kessler Boulevard Bridge, heading over 38th Street and I-65. So while this closure is underway, 30th Street is one of your main arteries you can use as a detour route. I have all detour routes on my Twitter account at Elena Martella.
Elena, thank you. Time right now is 6:20, and the Trump administration may not switch lawyers out who are working to get the citizenship question on the 2020 census. A federal judge ruled late yesterday that the administration failed to give the reason for the switch. The administration suddenly announced that it wanted to change lawyers earlier this week. That announcement came after the Supreme Court blocked the administration from adding that question, and after the Trump administration said that it had a new strategy to get around that ruling.
Do not miss out on a lottery jackpot. 2 winning Powerball tickets sold in Indiana worth $50,000 each will expire next month. One mystery winner bought a ticket for the February 9th drawing at Pike Food Center on Pendleton Pike in Indianapolis. That ticket expires at 5 p.m. on August 8th. The other ticket sold for the February 2nd jackpot in LaPorte at Family Express on J Street. That expires at 5 p.m. on August 1st. You can find the winning numbers by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story.
And don't forget, ABC's Shark Tank is coming right here to Indianapolis. You can pitch your idea to producers at an open call on July 16th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The doors open up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we have more information for you in the RTV6 app and also at theindychannel.com.
The city of Indianapolis is taking steps to go green. We'll show you the new lawnmowers that will make a big difference in the Circle City.
And the Stars were out last night in Cleveland. We have all the highlights from last night's big MLB All-Star game. We'll see you after the break.
More Buick GMC in Fishers.
Well, the Circle City is going green. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett took a new mean green electric lawnmower for a spin on Tuesday. The city unveiled a new electric, environmentally friendly mower at Frederick Douglass Park here on the northeast side. They don't produce any emissions, and they're going to help the city reduce the carbon footprint. City leaders say the mowers are a small but important step towards cleaner air in quieter neighborhoods.
We must do our part to make Indianapolis a greener, cleaner, and more beautiful place to live, work, and play. Reducing our city's carbon footprint is the first of many steps to creating a more sustainable Indianapolis.
The new mowers do not use any fuel, and they're half as loud as regular mowers. Some of the parts are manufactured by a company here in Indianapolis.
The best players in Major League Baseball were on display last night in Cleveland for the annual All-Star Game. For the 7th straight year, the American League came out on top in the Midsummer Classic. The AL used a big 7th inning to build a lead before holding on for a 4-3 victory. Cleveland Indians pitcher Shane Bieber struck out the side in the 5th inning to earn the game's MVP award. Major League Baseball will pick back up on Thursday night.
It is 6:26. The Indiana Pacers continue to struggle in the NBA's Las Vegas Summer League. The Blue and Gold dropped its 3rd straight game on Tuesday. 3 players scored in the double figures for the Pacers, but it just wasn't enough to top the Atlanta Hawks. Indiana lost 87-67. The star of the Summer League for the Pacers, Aaron Holiday, did not play in the game yesterday due to illness. Indiana will have today off before they're back in action tomorrow against the Toronto Raptors.
Yeesh, not a good run for the Pacers out there.
It's summer league though. But Holiday didn't play. So yeah, take it all in stride. All right, outside basketball out on the court this afternoon. Woo! Gonna be working up a sweat, I'll tell you that much. Very muggy here already this morning. 85 with heat and humidity already by the noon hour. High temperatures today will be climbing into the low 90s. The humidity though is going to make it feel closer to 100 degrees later on this afternoon. So make sure you try to limit your time outdoors. If you do have to be outdoors, drink plenty of water. As far as those storm chances go, it's just some isolated storm chances here throughout the day. The bigger weather story, definitely the heat and the humidity. Tomorrow, the humidity comes way down. It's a comfortable day at 84 degrees. Friday's nice as well. It's very seasonable at 86 with sunshine. Then we get into a prolonged stretch of 90-degree temperatures. You see there, starting on Saturday, going all the way into at least Tuesday of next week. We could probably extend that out even a little bit further as well. So make sure you make the preparations now. The time now is 6:27. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Flash Blast sold every 2.3 seconds.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Hard seeing that happen to someone so young, and I can't imagine that kind of thing.
A southern Indiana college campus mourning the loss of a young boy who died in a hot car. This morning, just how high the temperature inside the car may have reached.
And a Beech Grove man just wants to get back to work. His business targeted by a thief. Coming up, the plea he is making so he can go back to making a living.
And some news, if you're looking for a job, we'll show you where you might be able to find your next career later today. But first, here at 6:30 on your Wednesday morning, I want to thank you for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen here. We've got some higher temps than we've had the past few days. And unfortunately, our good old pal humidity has come back from a vacation, apparently.
You know, it's back. Yesterday, 89 degrees. Today, 91. So 2 degrees difference.
Not bad.
Not that big of a deal. The humidity, though, has come way up here overnight. And that is the major change in the forecast for the day today. So you need the sunglasses once again with some hazy sunshine. I didn't check the umbrella, but there could be some spotty downpours later on this afternoon. But this is probably the most important thing here. Drink plenty of water. Yesterday, you were able to work up a sweat. And with the heat today, with the humidity, your body has to work even harder to work up that sweat. And so you can get dehydrated very, very quickly. So make sure you drink that water here throughout the entire day. 72 in Bloomington as well as Tipton this morning. So these temperatures are not terrible, but again, it's very, very muggy. Now outside right now, we're also dealing with some showers here to the north. Some of these showers now making their way into Monticello, Rensselaer, Logansport, and Delphi. You're up next towards Peru as well. Maybe a couple of them get close to Indianapolis here this morning and points just to the north, but a lot of those are weakening. More storms off to our west. That's where the cold front lies, and that's what arrives later on this afternoon. So the pool, a great place to be today to cool off as our high temperature eventually gets up to 91 degrees. Obviously, some of those storms approach. You have to get out of the pool. We'll talk more about that storm chance coming up in just a few minutes. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. Not too much happening on the roadways right now. We do have this closure beginning today, though. The ramps to the Kessler Boulevard Bridge, those are going to close. So it's those ramps over 38th Street and I-65. A good alternate route you can always use is 30th Street to 29th Street to 38th Street, those types of ways. I tweeted out full detours on my Twitter account at Elena Martella, so check that out if this is part of your normal drive. Let's take a look at the roads right now. Up on the north side, 465, a ditch road, traffic beginning to pick up. Looks like it is slowly moving through, so you can always use 86th Street if you don't want to have any delays.
Elena, thank you. This morning, the University of Southern Indiana is mourning the loss of a 3-year-old boy who died after being left inside of a hot car. The Vanderburgh County Sheriff says 3-year-old Oliver Dill was supposed to be dropped off at USI's daycare center, but Dill's father says he forgot. When he came back out to the car at about 2 o'clock, the little boy was still in his car seat. The boy's father works for the university but has not yet been identified. Officials say temperatures inside the car were well above 100 degrees.
When I was on my way out here, the temperature in my car was in the mid-90s, so I'm certain that the temperature inside the car as it sat, went over 100 degrees. So, obviously parents just need to be aware and make sure that, they double check their cars before they get out.
USI's president issued a statement to the community expressing condolences for the family. He says the university will offer counseling services. The university's daycare center will also be closed today. Advocacy group KidsInCars.org says 55% of hot car deaths are because a parent unknowingly leaves a child in the vehicle. They advise parents to look in the back seat before locking your vehicle every time you park. You can also ask your child care provider to give you a call if your little one hasn't arrived by the scheduled time. They say especially be careful during busy times, schedule changes, and periods of crisis. A Beech Grove landscaper is distraught after his tools were stolen from him Sunday night into Monday morning.
Yeah, and he's telling RTV6 that the crime isn't only impacting his business, but it's also impacting his entire family's well-being. Our Aaron Lish joining us live this morning with more on the theft and what this man's asking from the community. Aaron.
Good morning. So Michael Bishop, he was absolutely shocked when he walked outside Monday morning to find something major was missing. It was his truck. He has a 1994 teal F-150 that was stolen along with his tools that he uses for his landscaping business. That includes 2 weed eaters, a backpack blower, a power washer, and 2 chainsaws. And as you can imagine, this is thousands of dollars of tools plus the truck. He did have the trailer stolen with the mower, but thankfully that was found up the street where it was taken. With all of this gone, his family, including his kids, will have to make sacrifices since this is how he makes a living.
Just want to ask for the community to just keep your eye out, do everything, and just take all precautions because they don't care where you live or who you are because they will, if they want it, they'll get it.
Again, this is the truck that was stolen this week, a teal 1994 F-150. And this is a really extremely unfortunate situation with Bishop buying more of his tools with his upstart company this last few months. Bishop says his equipment will always be locked up from now on. Beech Grove police are investigating at this point. They also say to make sure that your car doors are locked, and if there's anything valuable in it, make sure that it's hidden. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you for that report. It is 6:36. and police say the death of an elderly man on the south side of Indianapolis is being investigated as a homicide. This happened Tuesday afternoon when police found the man's body inside of a home on Union Street. That's southeast of Meridian and Pleasant Run Parkway. If you have any information, you can report a tip anonymously to Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
The special prosecutor investigating a South Bend police officer's fatal shooting of a black man says the probe will take, quote, as long as it takes. Last week, a St. Joseph County judge named Ripley County prosecutor Richard Hurdle to oversee the investigation into South Bend Sergeant Ryan O'Neill. He's accused of shooting Eric Logan on June 16th. On Tuesday, Hurdle held a news conference where he vowed his investigation will be expeditious but complete.
We all want this to move expeditiously and have a resolution. Those involved, those in the room, as well as those in the community. But when I'm asked about a time frame, my response is going to be as long as it takes. Because while we want it to be expeditious, we want it to be complete and we want it to be done right.
South Bend Mayor and Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg has taken time away from the campaign trail to address the shooting of Eric Logan. It's an issue that came up in the first round of Democratic presidential debates.
An initiative to help people stop running from the law will now be offered year-round here in Marion County. The Safe Surrender program was temporarily implemented in 2016 and 2017, but now it's permanent. A person with a warrant can turn themselves in familiar places like churches. Pastor Stephen Clay says surrendering to a clergy member is a safer option.
I think the reason why anyone would want to turn themselves in is because the sheriff's office and the IMPD are going to do what they do. They are going to come and they're going to serve those warrants. I've been out on those details. That's not something you want to expose your family, your friends, or your loved ones to.
Well, you can learn more about this program by calling 317-327-SAFE. If you're looking for a job, employers may be looking for you. Hundreds of open positions could be up for grabs today.
You have your chance to make an impression at a jobs fair starting this morning at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center. That is where we find our Alyssa Donovan. And Alyssa, you have a few tips for job seekers.
Yes, and the first tip is to get here nice and early. Doors open to this job fair at 10 a.m. and organizers recommend you plan to spend about an hour here. That means you can see about 4 to 5 employers. Now, if you do the math, that's not a long time to make a lasting impression on each of those hiring managers. So there are a few things that you can do to prepare before you get here. One of those is make an outfit dress for success. Make sure you're wearing business attire that you would wear to a professional job interview. Practice a pitch or an elevator speech. Make sure you have a quick summary of your skills and experience so you can have a plan to explain why you are the right candidate for the job. This should be less than a minute long. You should also bring supplies, extra resumes in case you find more than one potential employer, a pen and a pad of paper to take some notes. And finally, do your research. Job fairs like this one have details on what companies are attending on their website. Now, some of the companies attending today's fair include DeVry University, Walmart, and Spectrum. Those are just a few. There's going to be a lot more than just those. Organizers recommend you arrive early as there are hundreds of jobs available that these recruiters and hiring managers are looking to fill. The fair starts here at the fairgrounds at 10 a.m. this morning and runs until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, thanks, Alyssa. The time now is 6:39. As you walk out the door here this morning, you're walking out to a lot of humidity. The temperatures, they're not too bad here this morning, but they'll really start to increase as the day goes on. And we get into some impressive heat index values later on today. So make sure you take care of yourself and also your pets. Our featured dog here of the day today is Rocco. Thanks for Wendy for sending that in. Looks like he got his treat in his mouth. He's all ready to go for a walk. But again, try to limit your time outside here throughout the day today. We'll give you the red pause here this afternoon. As we start to build in a few isolated storms, but the temperatures start to creep up near 90 degrees. In fact, our high temperature today, 91, but when you factor in that humidity, it's going to feel like 98 degrees with some locations probably even getting into the triple-digit heat index values. So it's very hot and humid today. The good news is it's a one-day deal for now. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. The fight between a Catholic high school and a former teacher is now over. Coming up, the deal struck that ends the the latest case over a teacher's same-sex relationship.
And he used a private email account for government business. Up next, how he's now being sued to open up those emails to the public. It's 6:41. We'll be right back.
Sitting at the Good Feed store.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:43. Cathedral High School and a former teacher have reached a settlement after that teacher was fired for being in a same-sex marriage. The teacher's attorney says that he does not want his identity released, rather, and does not want any harm against that school. The Catholic Archdiocese says the settlement is between the teacher and Cathedral, and that's because the school was the employer, even though the Archdiocese told the school it needed to fire the teacher. This all happened last month, just days after the Archdiocese split with Brebeuf Jesuit High School for not firing a teacher who was in a same-sex marriage. 2 counselors at Roncalli High School have filed civil rights complaints after they were suspended over their same-sex marriages.
Attorney General Curtis Hill will have to go to court to defend his use of a private email account for public business. The Indianapolis Star is suing the Attorney General to obtain the private email information of Hill and one of his top deputies. The lawsuit says any emails sent using private accounts by Hill and the deputy that involve government business must be released under Indiana's open records law. There's been no comment so far from Hill's office.
President Trump standing by Labor Secretary Alexander Acosta over his role in a plea deal that was given to wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein more than a decade ago. Top Democrats and several presidential candidates have called for Acosta to resign after a new indictment of financier Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein is charged with sex trafficking girls as young as age 14. It comes after Acosta struck that plea deal over similar charges while Acosta was a federal prosecutor down in Florida. The deal led to Epstein serving only 13 months in prison.
The celebration continues today for the best soccer team in the world. The U.S. women's national soccer team will be honored today with New York City's signature ticker tape parade. It will be the first time confetti has fallen from the sky in celebration since 2015 when the U.S. women won the last World Cup. The only other sports team to get back-to-back ticker tape parades are the hometown New York Yankees. The women are celebrating even as they continue their fight to receive pay that is equal to the U.S. men's team. It is 6:45 right now, and Todd has got that fan cranking on the screen behind him there.
I got the fan on one side, the air conditioner on the other side. Yeah, here it's going to be another hot day, and you're going to need the fan and the air conditioner throughout the entire day today as we've reintroduced the humidity back into the forecast. In fact, it's very high throughout the day today, and heat index values will be around 100 degrees. Some of you probably even a little bit above 100, some of you just shy of 100, but either way, you look at it, it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid, and then we'll build in some storms later on this afternoon. There's a few showers out there already this morning as this humidity starts to come up. I'll show you those in just a second. Dry, though, in downtown Indianapolis right now with skies that are mostly cloudy. Temperatures right now aren't all that bad. We're sitting in the 70s anywhere you go, 75 in Muncie, 74 in Indianapolis. But here's where high temperatures are going. So even if there's a little bit of cloud cover this morning, that will probably hold the temperatures pretty steady throughout the morning hours. But as soon as you break into the sunshine, temperatures come up, the humidity is going to be oppressive, and high temperatures eventually get up into the low 90s in almost all locations, and that puts that heat index value range between 95 and 100 degrees. The good news is it's just a one-day deal with these heat index values. Today, we're in the extreme caution category. The humidity comes way down again tomorrow and then stays pretty low as we work our way into Friday and Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, we're in the very warm category. I know 94 is nothing to laugh about, but the actual temperatures will be a little bit cooler, and that's why those numbers are down just a little bit. Now, I mentioned those rain showers, and we've seen some more downpours flare up right here in Hamilton County as well into Boone County, really within just the last 15 to 20 minutes or so, up towards Tipton as well. Then some steadier rain a little further to the north, Monticello, back towards Rensselaer, and all this is drifting off towards the east. So from Indianapolis to the north, don't be completely shocked for your morning commute, or if you're out and about throughout the morning hours that you get a quick little passing shower and a little bit of cloud cover. But once this little disturbance moves through, there's plenty of sunshine in between the wave of moisture going through right now and this cold front for the atmosphere to destabilize, and that's why we'll build in additional thunderstorms later on this afternoon. So here we are by the noon hour, partly cloudy skies, maybe a stray sprinkle, but watch how these showers and storms just blossom up pretty quickly in the peak heating of the day as that cold front approaches. So they're very spotty. Not everybody's going to see the rain here throughout the day today. But if you do see some of these storms, they could be borderline strong to severe, with wind being the main threat. And the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a good chunk of the northern half of the state under the slight risk for severe weather. Now, tomorrow, once that front goes through, it's not going to be like the snap of a finger that the humidity drops. It's slowly going to decrease, but tomorrow's a much more comfortable day for us from start to finish, with high temperatures that'll be in the mid-80s across the area. And then we'll continue that nice weather into Friday as well. 86 with sunshine, but then the heat builds back in starting on Saturday, and that's going to stick with us all the way through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and potentially even beyond. The humidity comes up as well, so kind of prepare yourself for our next heat wave that's going to last several days, with just some minor storm chances here and there with the heat and humidity. Elena.
All right, thank you, Todd. Not much happening on the roadways, but looking ahead to today, these ramps are going to close. The 4 ramps accessing the Kessler Boulevard North Drive Bridge at over 38th Street and I-65 are going to be closed. So you're just going to want to pay attention to this. It's expected to continue for about 60 days or so. Let's take a look at the roads right now. The roads are dry. I-70 at Rural Street, Keystone Avenue over on the east side. Traffic's moving along just fine as you are making your way out the door.
Elena, thank you. Here's a reminder that in just a few weeks, students are going to be heading back to the classroom. Students in many communities struggle to get those basic school supplies, like the ones listed on your screen right now. So that's why we're hosting our annual Back to School Drive. It is 1 week from tomorrow. That's July 18th, right on Monument Circle. We're going to be out there from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., and we hope to see you there.
Next on Good Morning Indiana, questions from the family of the toddler who fell to her death from a cruise ship. Why their attorney believes the cruise line could be at fault.
And new information out today from the family of a Disney star. Coming up here on Good Morning America, what they're saying about the cause of his tragic death. The time right now is 6:50. We'll be right back after the break.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:52. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. We're working for you on this Wednesday morning to help you get your day started.
We have all your top stories covered, and Elena Martella is keeping a close eye on traffic. We do want to start things off with Todd Clausen and a humid forecast ahead.
Yeah, it's all about the heat, humidity today, and there's the chance of a few storms, but everybody deals with the heat and humidity. Only some of you will see a little bit of rainfall here throughout the day today, but we are starting to flare up some isolated showers in and around the metro area and points just to the north there in Hamilton County. Some additional showers here streaming through portions of Monticello over towards Logansport. Just part of a little wave of moisture that's coming through this morning as this humidity starts to increase. Everything you see this morning will be very, very light. Now, then we get back into the afternoon, the sunshine during the afternoon hours, and look how things really start to heat up. Here are your heat index values at the noon hour in the upper 80s to mid 90s across the area. Some triple-digit heat index values this afternoon during the peak heating of the day. And in the afternoon hours, when we get back into that sunshine, additional thunderstorms are possible later on today.
Todd, thank you. This morning, we are learning new information about the tragic death of an 18-month-old Indiana girl on a cruise ship in Puerto Rico. An attorney for the family of Chloe Wiegand says the girl fell through a window that was left open in a children's play area. The attorney says there were no warning signs in the area to tell people the window was open. Aaron.
A Beech Grove landscaper is distraught after his truck and his tools were stolen earlier this week. On Monday morning, Michael Bishop walked out to find that his 1994 teal F-150 was gone, along with his trailer containing all of his landscaping machines. His trailer and lawnmower were found just down the road, but his 2 weed eaters, his backpack blower, power washer, and 2 chainsaws are still gone. And that's, of course, costing thousands of dollars. Bishop says this is how he makes an income and provides for his family. Make sure to keep your vehicle doors locked and anything valuable hidden, according to Beech Grove Police. If you know any information or see this teal truck, you are again asked to call Beech Grove Police.
Aaron, thank you. Right now, Metro Police are calling a case of death on the west side, a death investigation. Officers found 2 men on the ground on Dexter Street just after 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Detectives say that a coroner there did not find any apparent trauma on those bodies. A 3rd man was taken to the hospital in good condition. Alyssa.
Employers are looking to fill hundreds of positions, and they want to meet you today at a job fair here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Organizers recommend you plan to spend a half an hour to an hour here. That way you can meet 4 to 5 potential employers. They also say you should bring plenty of resumes, a pen and paper to take some notes, and prepare a quick 30-second pitch to let potential employers know who you are and why you're right for the job. The job fair starts this morning at 10 a.m. and runs until 2 p.m.
Alyssa, thank you. Today, drivers will get a chance to get a look at changes coming to the I-465 on the south and southwest sides. The Department of Transportation plans to add 1 lane in each direction and improve entrance and exit ramps. Bridges will also be replaced at Madison, Keystone, and Carson Avenues, as well as the Mooresville Road Bypass Bridge. Work is not scheduled to start until 2021. An open house to learn more about the project starts at 6 tonight at Decatur Central High School, followed by a presentation at 6:30. Elena.
And not much happening on the roads right now, but I do want to point out beginning today the western ramps to Kessler Boulevard to access that bridge over 38th Street and I-65. All 4 of those ramps are going to be closed, so plan ahead with that closure. I tweeted out the detours.
Skies are partly to mostly cloudy here this morning. It's muggy with just a few sprinkles out there across parts of the area, mainly north of Indianapolis. We get back into the hazy sunshine, though, pretty quickly this morning. Then we really heat up. 90 to 91, your high temperature heat index values near 100 degrees this afternoon, with some additional storms possible this afternoon and this evening. They should be pretty isolated. The bigger weather story, again, the heat and humidity. Tomorrow, not as humid. That is the good news. A high of 84, 86 and sunny on Friday. Should be a beautiful end to the work week. But then the heat builds back in for the weekend and into next week.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thanks for joining us. We're going to be back right here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
We'll leave you here at the live shot overlooking the city. Have a great day.